Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good night to you all. Hope you've all had a lovely day. I have, but I can't say it was productive, which is true of most days, to be honest. Nothing happens, ever. And then I nearly fell asleep like 40 minutes ago. I was like, no. Oh, no. But I didn't. Slapped myself a couple times and then ate a chocolate and I was fine. That's how it usually goes, isn't it? You know, just eat a chocolate, you'll be fine. So, yes. Um, so it's kind of difficult. Last time we had a challenge, I've already forgotten what the challenge was. What was the last challenge? Doesn't matter. Last time we had one of the monthly challenges, not like World Ember, like the previous one. Uh, the article for that took me, I think, a couple streams to work through. That didn't happen with this one. It took me like 2-3 days, and then it was mostly just getting art done and getting everything like sorted. So, oops. The Yankunelijwa article is done. And hi, Kaji-san! Good morning, I think, or maybe, I guess closer to afternoon. Timing. A good day regardless. So, yes, I finished the Ankyun article. I did up some art for it. It's fine. I think the art's okay. I'm still trying to like, cause I haven't gotten a lot of opportunities to actually use my art program which is Clip Studio Paint, because I've been busy, writing. So I think I'm still sort of getting the hang of it. So I've been sticking to very sketchy styles, because then you don't notice that I'm not good at using it. That is the plan. But yeah, so that's an article. I don't remember where I got up to. I think I was like up to here-ish or something. Pretty much the only part that I'm iffy about is this paragraph here, but it's fine. Good day is the closest to the thing Polish greeting use all day. Fair enough. Yeah. Well, I mean, g'day is a classic Australian greeting, so it will have to do. My accent doesn't really allow for g'day to be used properly, though. So yes, the article is done. This part's formatted weirdly just because I didn't want to have to actually use the artist credits. So I did that manually, the hard way, the Grandmaster way, and that meant that it can't like wrap around. But it's fine. It's fine. So that is an article. And when more people show up, I'm gonna do a sneaky self-promotion. Slide that into chat. Real sneaky like, because I would like likes on it. And then obviously, since I've finished fairly early on, I'll hopefully get time to read those articles for once. But of course, the issue with finishing early is that now I have nothing to do. And that's just sad. I don't have any art to do at the moment because I've actually finished all the flags, except for one. Technically two. There are technically 2 flags missing. From our previous flag experience. I have no idea what we got up to, but the last flag that I did was, I don't think I showed this one, Fossatasen. I'm not pronouncing Fossatasen correctly, it's fine. Fossatasen's flag, and where are you? Noah Chahid's flag. They're actually really similar, so they might change, but for now, they look like that. It's kind of difficult, because they are, no, actually, shit. I didn't realize those ones actually looked really similar. I'm gonna have to tweak that. I mean, they're different colors, or they're completely different color schemes, but, we'll see. The idea is there's at least a flag present for each country, and of course, there's the entire rest of the table and its contents, which have not been done yet. I was just before the stream started. I was filling in some of the foundation dates. I believe is what this is listed as. Year founded. Most of which are kind of complicated. Like these two. Oh Jesus. These two here, Erströworth and Sherladom. When they were founded depends on what you classify as a foundation, because like this would be the time they started, and then you know they personal union for a bit, and then they like full UK'd it a little bit, and then they split off. But the two of them were still together, and then they split up again. Now one of them is a republic, so I'm just like, dude, just put the early date. You'll deal with it. I think one of them still has a double date because I really wasn't sure how to classify that one. Because which one of these dates is correct depends on which country you think is the original. But honestly, who knows? Because neither of them are. They split in half. That's the whole point. It was a succession crisis. That's how it works. So they have a double date still. And the rest of them don't have foundation dates because that's for chumps. I don't have those. Never heard of it. Ooh, a challenge article. Yes! Articles! This is good. This means I don't have to do anything. I do have plans, but this I have very general plans. But we can read an article instead. That's the good stuff. Oh no. Oh, that's super Polish. Oh, dude. Oh no. Oh god, that is so Polish. I can say Mieszko, so we've got that down. That's fine. And then it's Janowitz. Janowitz? 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 And then is that an L? That's an I. Bial. No, I don't think that's not a Welsh wolf, is it? Bielogorski? Okay, W is V, so Janowitz. Mieszko Janowitz Bielogorski. It's not, the L is not pronounced correctly, and I don't think that or is either. Mieszko Janowitz Bielogorski. Is it L as L? Okay, because I'm pretty sure it's pronounced differently, and I can kind of do, like, it's like the Welsh L, but I'm not sure if that's the correct L, so that's fine. So Mieszko Janowitz Bielogorski. Bielogorski. Gurski. Okay. Close enough. AKA the savior of White Mountain. I'll just be calling him Mieszko, because I can say Mieszko. So that's fine. Language. Okay, so Mieszko Bielogorski was the captain of the city guard in White Mountain during the Krakian Civil War. History. Mieszko was born in White Mountain in the year 975 Darkness as the son of a craftsman. However, he did not inherit his father's profession. When the Empire of Atamor fell because of Irenaeus' rebellion, White Mountain became a place of chaos. The city guard was disbanded and criminals were ruling on the streets. Okay. 1L ruling, if that's the word. Yeah, I would probably just say ruling the streets. So criminals were ruling the streets. Mieszko was seeing that and wanted to do something to make the city safe again. Okay. He went to the old guard barracks to look for anybody who also wanted to help. However, the barracks were empty. All guards deserted when the Empire fell. Mieszko took on light armor and a spear and went to the streets. When Mieszko was fighting against the criminals, a couple of old city guards found him and offered to train him. Mieszko accepted. Okay. The new guard. A new city guard was formed. It took only a couple of years to get rid of most of the gangs in the city. White Mountain was slowly returned to the state it was in the past. As a reward for his brave fighting, the city council made Mieszko the captain of the city guard. Siege of White Mountain. Oh boy, that's a chunky paragraph. That's not a... well, I mean, yeah. In the year 5 Church, a siege was laid on White Mountain by the enemies of House Bielski, who was the city's sovereign. The siege was a difficult time for the city, especially that it hadn't... Okay. The siege was a difficult time for the city, especially as it hadn't recovered from the chaos of the earlier years. So, especially as it hadn't. I think would read better there. Mieszko was commanding the defense personally from the city walls. After some time, the ballistas on the walls ran out of bolts, and there was a battering ram approaching the wall. Knowing that the bolts wouldn't come in time, Mieszko ordered a mage to teleport him to the ram. He wanted to eliminate the enemy soldiers at it. Yes. Sorry, I had to think about what a battering ram looked like for a second. Okay. Shortly after Mieszko reached the ram and entered it... No, shortly after Mieszko reached the ram and entered it, a bolt of white light exploded from the machine. From the battering ram emerged Mieszko. He was flying and surrounded by a divine light. He attacked the besiegers with bolts of light. The enemy forces were decimated. Then Mieszko landed on the city walls. Soldiers cheered, but the happiness was stopped by a bolt of light exploding from Mieszko to the sky. When the light went out of him, Mieszko fell dead. Oh, I'm getting notifications, god damn it. Nobody knows what exactly happened that day. Some speculate, the first A does not need to be there for that. Some speculate that the besiegers were using magic to enhance the battering ram, and Mieszko somehow absorbed that energy and was able to use it against the enemy. It is said that he died of exhaustion. Oof, that's rough, buddy. Okay. Then legacy. Mieszko's sacrifice was rewarded by the city council by naming him the savior of White Mountain and erecting a statue of him which stands in the main square of the city to this day. The tale of the savior is the most important element of the local culture of White Mountain. Shortly after the siege, the guardsmen create a memorial in the barracks basement. To this day, every new member of the guard spends 12 hours in the memorial after joining the guard. They pay their respects to the savior and pray to Lady Suzanne to give them strength and bravery to do what they have to do. Guardsmen go to the memorial also when they need to make a difficult decision which would impact the city in a big way. Ah, okay, so it's like a joining ritual where you just gotta stand there. You're reflecting, but you've joined. It is time to pray to the statue. You can now actually do guarding things, which is interesting. I do like that. And then we've got our portrait of Mieszko. With good credit. We always credit our artists. Okay, so... Right, okay. So it's a 1,000-year cycle for years, or at least that's how long darkness lasted for. Okay, I assumed it would be something like that, but because I have a system that's nonsense, I wasn't sure if this one was sensible or not. It is. That's sensible year system. Awesome! I do like that. I like a bunch of people coming from, like, low backgrounds to just kick ass, take names, destroy the enemy, god magic. I'm a big fan of god magic. Or just weird divine magic. Possibly... Trying to think of, like, Church Lost to the Present, so it is longer than 1,000. Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. So it varies depending on what's happening. So I'm assuming that, like, Irenaeus' rebellion was basically what ended darkness. And then that's when Church starts. And so he becomes captain not too long before 5 Church. Maybe? I don't know. I'm just making assumptions because I can't read about the I can't read about Irenaeus specifically, so I can't find out when he did the thing. So I'm just kind of filling in. Note that like it doesn't, the timeline doesn't have to be super specific in that early era because that's not where it's not important as much. What's important is in the Year 5 church, things occur. So it's far more important that like dates are in here, or date is there. And then we've still got we know how old he is, which is fine. So it's all good. Everything is clear. Everything makes sense. And he went full whoosh everywhere, which is fun. I would possibly try to maybe, because the phrase bolt of light is used quite a few times, and the word light in general is used quite a few times around about this section here. So from he wanted to eliminate the soldiers to he fell dead. If I know it, because like it is obviously just a bolt of light, but possibly alternate phrases like beam of light, or I don't know what other word you would use instead of light. It might possibly just be like rewordings to try and space it out a little bit, just because it since it's a bolts of light is a fairly rare phrase, coming up a lot feels it stands out a lot. So if there's some ways to either reword them or just use a synonym for bolt, like beam or ray or something, that'll help a little bit, I think. But it is a good article, and I like that there's the statue as well. Statues are cool, and that there's an entire culture or cultural practice based around going to the statue and, you know, paying your respects and praying. So you can have some of Mieszko's strength and such. I think that is super cool. That is the cool stuff. Yay! Oh, that's not closing. Oh god, there we go. Woo. Alrighty, girls. Oh, there is an article about the Kraken. Is that... Hold on, am I thinking the right one? Oh no, because that's the church stuff. It's fine. It's fine. I don't want to get distracted. I kind of do, but I don't. That would be unfair. So, the plan for today is that because I finished Ankun's article way quicker than I thought I would, I think just because I knew where I was going and I just went. It whoosh. Writing happened. When it usually doesn't. The idea was, there was someone in the challenge Discord who mentioned that, like, because they finished their article, or at least like the first draft of it, very early, that they were going to be writing articles that, like, they were like supporting articles. And there are obviously, admittedly, like, they're looking from the angle of someone who has access to every article in the world, but there are a lot of supporting articles already present for Ankun's article. There's, you know, Kiki Cooldust, which is a fairly important supporting article for this, because it at least explains what the hell is happening. Kariz is not filled out at all, and I'm not going to be writing about Zunatooth and Kari, because I will not do it. The continent doesn't matter as much. The elf article needs to be rewritten, frankly, quite badly, but I mean, I could do that. It's fine. And there's a bunch that have been written, and they're sprinkled regularly enough that it's okay. There's obviously a bigger gap around here when we're just, like, actually getting shit done. But the idea was, there's an article present, or that isn't present. about a thing that comes up fairly frequently in the article that in terms of objects isn't necessarily explained. It kind of is. It's the Grand Church either in or of Korea. I've not been consistent about whether it's in or of, but I think I've used different forms in the same article, which is a little bit awkward. Mostly because it's not really called the Grand Church in Korea. That's not its full title. It is just the Grand Church, and then it is either like it's the Grand Church and it's in Korea, or it's the Grand Church and it's of Korea. Who really knows? I don't. But it's a specific building, not a religious sect or anything. It is a specific building, which is slightly explained here as being built to honor the gods and involves a lot of blood cults, weird shit. Which I'm not gonna write about the blood cult because, but I figured I could write about the building, which is super busted now, which is fun. Because I'm like, yeah, whatever, right? So I'm gonna call it the Grand Church in Korea for the article, because I've already, I made the stub. I haven't actually filled out anything in it. But I figured that I could do this, and then I'll chuck it as a sub-article under either, probably under Hikikulust, which is the country who built it, and who owned it until it got super burnt, super busted. Okay, construction date. That is not when it was constructed. Dear God, no. Oh. Which article has it? Well, I know which article has it, but do I have it in here? I do not. Okay. Well, let's open this article and find out which year he built it. When did you build it, buddy? The Grand Church in Korea. So, it's in Korea. I think I called it of Korea in here. Which possibly I should fix it as being in Korea, because that seems to be the common stand for it. Because it's just a Grand Church that is in Korea. So that is 38. 38 discovery. Ah, where am I? Oh god, I have so many articles open. Help. Alright, 38 disco. Where we disco. That's not even something I like. Why would you do this to me? And then it is destroyed in 2 famine. Good thing I don't have a famine article. A famine song I could be singing at that point. Disco. Some people are unbelievable. You just found a settlement article submitted for the challenge? Wow. That's just strange. Is it like... Does it actually seem to have anything to do with the challenge? Or is it just like... just a random town? Because like, if it is just a random town that doesn't seem to have any connection to the challenge, it could be a mistake. It could be somebody's just scrolled down. Because it is like, well, I guess not really. Wait, how do you even do that? Hold on, how do you even submit a settlement for the... Hold on a minute. How do you even submit a settlement? Or is it like... It's a person prompt, but they've written a village? I'm a little bewildered by that. I obviously wouldn't open it on stream because that might be unfair. Oh my god. Shit. Ugh. Damn it. God. Beans. What? No. My own... Wait, what? What is that for? But I have a dark orange. What? When did I put that text in? The temple in a settlement. How did they even do that? That's weird. Oh god, my eyeballs. Ow. Ow. Is this any better? I don't know. Ow. There's a lot happening. Sorry, I need to do a CSS check. So while I'm doing that, not, well, that is the one. Luckily I can still see chat. Okay. Settlement ruined? Why would that be what I would put it as? Why would I put it as color red? Doesn't make any sense. What do you mean there's only 2 of them? There's a panel danger though. What? Oh, bewildering shit. Yeah, because it's the ruined building. So I've done it twice, somehow. Oh, because I didn't realize they were the same? Hold on a minute, buddy. Wait. No, because it is panel danger. Strange. Very, very strange. I'm going to remove that. I don't know why I put that as color red. That makes no sense. Ruined building / settlement. Just do that. Just do that one. Alright? Just do it that way. I'm just fixing some stuff. There we go. That's way better. Because now it's actually readable by people's own eyes. Their own eyeballs can read it. Incredible. Now I can minimize Notepad. Ow. God. My poor innocent eyeballs. Ow. That said, having gone to that effort of fixing the thing, when have I even used that? Have I used that for anything? Because I feel like I would have noticed that it looks kind of ugly. What? Hold on a minute, buddy. Settlement? No. Godsum. No. None of these are destroyed. These are all exist. Okay, so it has to be a building. None of these are destroyed. None of those are destroyed. I am confused. Have I used the correct template? I have. I'm a little confused, I'll be honest. Cause like, is it just that I've never used it and that's why I didn't realize it was ugly? Just like a shawl? Do you use it? You don't even use it. What's the point? What is even the point? I'm a little confused. I don't know what's happening. I don't even remember writing this article. Dear God. Well, if I hate it, I can edit it later, but it does look kind of ugly. I think I remember somebody else on a stream who was dealing with a settlement or a building, and they were like, no. I know why it looks like this. That doesn't mean that I have to like it. As they always say. Just because I understand why something is the way it is doesn't mean I have to enjoy it. Which is what I've been saying about a whole bunch of things in Avatar over the last 3 days. Which sounds very bitter, but I promise I'm having a decent time. I promise. I promise I'm enjoying the show. It's just that there are some things I do not like. No. That's why I've been very unproductive for like 4 days. I watched like I watched like the first 9 episodes while drawing, and that was very productive because I was doing the drawing at the same time. And then I haven't been productive in 2 days. I mean, I've been going through very quickly, basically because I'll try to do something in the other window that stops me from pausing. Because otherwise I would pause it constantly. And I still do. So, God, some parts of it, yo, the article, the episode with the fortune teller, I hated that episode so much. I did not enjoy that episode at all. Like, that was agony. The only reason I finished the episode is because A, I knew something good was gonna happen eventually when the actual volcano went boosh. So I was like, okay, I gotta sit through it to that. And then, I took my headphones out and I played Binding of Isaac instead. So I left it on the monitor playing without sound while I did something else. Until I looked over and went, okay, we've stopped doing the dumb shit now. Dumb is not the word I want to use. I keep trying not to use the word dumb. The bullshit's over. Time for actual stuff. Yeah. Like, I mean, I joked on Twitter that, like, I was ostensibly a 12-year-old girl at some point, so I feel like I should understand roughly what 12-year-old girls think, and nothing that's happening here makes sense to me. But maybe that's just because I'm not clever. It was the romance stuff. The science prophecy thing was okay. It was fine. Whatever, right? I didn't have any strong feelings on that. Though there was the bit, like one of the last lines of the episode or something was someone basically calling Sokka like a facts and logic dude, and I died. That killed me. But not in a good way. And that's not the show's fault, it's society's fault. So I'm just like, wow, damn, dude. Mr. Science and Logic over here, and I'm just like, oh, no. But the romance shit was unbearable in that episode. And it is in pretty much every episode so far. I do not like any of the romance, like explicit romance in the show. I'll make an exception for Sokka and Yue, just because Yue is an adult about it. For the most part. So she's fine. And also Yue is a character who shows up in more than one episode. Yeah, she dies, but like, she's in 3 episodes, so that's a huge plus. Because it means once you get past the really awkward shit of episode 1 when they meet, you can then get to them just kind of being a couple. They're not a couple, obviously, but you can get to them doing cute shit. And I'm like, okay, so we were doing good stuff now. We're building character in the romance. We're learning about things. It's not just useless. You know? And it's serving a purpose, because only through, you know, Sokka trying to date Yue do you get to learn about, like, a bunch of shit. And that's how you learn about how the fact that she's tied to the moon spirit and all that shit. I'm like, okay, this serves a purpose. There's an actual reason for the romance to happen, aside from embarrassing me. People have a question, they're like, 8. I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, maybe I just don't understand. Maybe it's just because I'm not, like, cishet. Maybe that's why I don't get it. I have no idea. It's just a little bewildering, is all. It's a little confusing. I don't even have a quote for this article yet. As a grand so timeline of the church. I said the date it was founded. So 38 Disco. Built by Godzu. The Cult Man. The Blood Pirate Man. Famine. God damn burned. How many sad episode moments so far? I mean, I really like the two-parter. The two-parter season finale. I actually really liked that set. Because I think that was, you know, good drama and stuff. aside from that, the sequence with the Blue Spirit. So I guess the episode The Blue Spirit. Big fan of that one, actually. But I think that's just because Zuko is my favorite character. So I kind of like whenever Zuko gets to do something interesting. So, you know, him deciding that he's gonna fucking pull one over on Zhao and rescue, Aang. That shit slaps. That's just good stuff. I love it. Zuko is my favorite character. Then followed by probably Sokka, weirdly enough. Mostly because Katara and Aang are so childish so frequently, and Sokka gets a bunch of good one-liners about it. So Sokka's my second favorite character. Of the, like, main, I guess, 4. Yeah, that moment is good. The moment, like, I think we could have been friends if there wasn't a war going on, and then immediately just... Iroh is good. Iroh is also very good. But I guess he is a main character, so yeah, Iroh's good. They're good characters. Good show. Good show, it's just that there's a lot of petty romance bullshit, and I hate all of it. Unfortunately. So some bits are hard to sit through. Oh yeah, he's very chill. He basically only snaps like once so far in the whole show. And it's when Zhao kills the moon spirit. And Iroh just loses his shit. And I'm like, yeah, dude, that's completely reasonable. Like, that's it. The entire time he's just like, yeah, things are happening. And then just anything to do with the moon spirit. Man's gone up to 100, and it's great. That is drama. I love it. And especially, like, the sort of sprinkling in of his backstory. I mean, sometimes the exposition is not subtle. In fact, a lot of the time, it is not subtle. But I do like that they haven't just told us everything immediately about Iroh, and then it's sort of been drip-fed over time. So it's like, okay, there was the Ba Sing Se thing, there was like a 600-day siege, and he failed. But you don't know why yet. You don't know why he failed yet. So that's still a mystery. I kind of know, but I don't know yet. Then this thing about his son, which comes up in like the second last episode of the season. There's the thing about the spirit world, also in the second last or last episode of the season. You know, like, there's all these little bits, and I'm like, I want to know more about Iroh. I want to know more. I do like Katara a bunch, but I know a lot of people who are Team Mom. I mean, I like Katara too. It's... I think it is just, like, because... I really do just... I do not like petty romance shit. Which is, like, you know, a comedy romance stuff. Which is why I'm okay with Sokka and Yue, because that's not... It starts comedic and then it goes into tragic, which is way more interesting to me. So there's a point in the middle, which is like the sweet spot of, okay, this is just a relationship between people. But the thing with Katara, yeah, like, Sokka gets a lot of comedic romance shit because he's a bit pathetic sometimes. Well, mostly he just gets the Suki bit at the start, and that's his, like, misogyny moment, and then that's done. And I'm like, thank God. And then he chills out. And so for the middle part of the season, the petty romance thing falls to Katara and Aang. And as I said, the fortune teller episode is my least favorite because they're both in romance dipshit mode. And it is awful because it isn't fun to watch. I don't enjoy when Katara goes romance bullshit mode. Because it's not quite out of character, it all makes sense, and she is like 12, so sure. But it doesn't mean I have to enjoy it. And so because she goes romance bullshit more often than Sokka does, I like Sokka more. But overall as a character, I think as the seasons go on, and it starts getting a bit more serious as it builds to the conclusion, like as it gets up to like Sozin's comment and all that shit. As it gets further, I will like Katara more. I am pretty much confident in that fact, that I will like Katara more when, as the sort of very, very light episodes start being less frequent and it becomes a bit more serious over time, I will like her way more. And she'll probably be my favorite character out of the main three. Not that Aang is bad either. Aang is also good. But, you know. The childish characters, you know? You gotta... It depends. Depends on the mood. Sometimes I'm not in the mood for Aang's childish bullshit. I don't know. It's a good show. I'm just really bad at watching TV, so I'm trying my best. I've watched more TV in the last 3 days than I have in like 4 years. So I'm putting in effort. And then I'll start season 2 like tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. Hype as hell for Azula though. I can't wait for Azula shit. Cause she's showing up and I'm like, it's time. It's time for the second main female in the cast. The villain. She's here. Finally. That's it. That's all we've got. I will take it. I will take it. Oh god, does anything else happen in this damn church? Or is it just, like, it gets built and then it gets blown up? I don't even know what the time scale is for that. Like 180, no? 170 through to... Okay, so it's about 100 years old. It lasts about 100 years. That's not bad. It's decent for a church in a war zone, as it were. Luckily, I already had a church image from the High Court of Maisma from summer camp. I don't think anything else happens here. That's what I just did. Well, I guess step 1 is whenever Korea gets yeeted. I don't remember when Korea gets yeeted. Sometime? Unclear. When did you conquer Korea, buddy? Don't know. Good morning, Archdinossaur Bob. How are you? Do you have the precious coffee to help you wake up in the morning? We all need the sweet bean juice. Well, I don't drink coffee, but hey. Okay. 152 does not have curry. 229 does have curry. This is not very helpful. When did you take it? When did they conquer it? When did he take it? How long did it take? Is it literally just 38? Wow. Not yet, still brewing. Ugh. Devastating. It's so close. And I almost taste it. Oh, jeez. I need to pick a date for that. Because 23, he wins. Well, he becomes captain. And 38, he builds a church. So presumably he has the building by then. By then. And then... Unclear. I think did I mention it here? No, just the long dormant governorate of Curry. I don't give dates often enough, do I? Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing I don't give this many dates. Because then shit gets confusing. But that's why I have a timeline full of now pretty images so that I can just visually go, ah yes, an event. Because Disco's here. And this is when Republic, and that's unrelated. Because shenanigans. Now that you're here, it'll be fun to write about whenever I get to it. I don't know, like 30? Fuck it. Go for like 30. So 30 Disco. Kari. Conquered. Then 2 famine goddamn burnt. And then, when did I build this? I didn't give a date, did I? Oh my god. 21 famine. Okay. Gone. And then statue built. Oh, I'm gonna have to make a date again. God. Because it didn't start until the union, but when did you union? No. When did you do the union? I don't know. Ah. Deeply unclear. This looks cool as hell now that it has all of these in it, though. God damn. I also love that that's 3 different shades of green. Somehow. And yet it's the same shade of blue. That was deliberate, but the blue was deliberate, the green wasn't. That's just a whole mess. Why do you use different shades of green? Maybe they should use the same shade of green. Maybe 2 of you should use the same shade of green. What are you doing? Oh god. There's a lot of shades of green. I've figured out. I've learnt. There's a lot of shades of green. Okay, here's the country that I'm thinking about. Do I have any idea when it started? No, I don't. I do not. Great, I love that. Big fan. I'm a big fan of not knowing what I'm talking about. Generally speaking. Merge during contact. What? Pardon? Okay, hold on. Famine. Contact? Really? Hold on a minute, buddy. Okay, past Isaac, you've made a decision. I'm not sure why you've made that decision. I don't think that makes sense. How did they get into personal union? They're governorates. They're republics. How do you personal union a republic? What? Pardon? Oh my god. This is why it's notes. What? What does that mean? Because that would make the statue only like... God, how old would the statue be if it was during contact? It's only like 50, 70 years old. Which is still old, but... I mean, compared to what I thought it was. I don't know about that, buddy. Parse me? I don't know about that. Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's a little confusing. No? Was Zunitude not a governor when I did this? Jeez, okay. This is why we don't read through my notes, because none of them make any sense. I'm sure that this made sense when I wrote it. But now it doesn't make sense because the statue didn't get built until it did the thing. Now this can change. I might change this. But the because they can't have been in a personal union, then they're governorates. Well, hold on. I'm gonna Google what a governorate is. Governorate. Help me out here, buddy. Most common usage is for an Arabic thing. I don't think that was what I was using it for. I think I was thinking like a colonial governor. Which I don't even know what kind of governor that is. Colonialism? Vice-regal? Oh no, not that bullshit. Not like a... well, I mean, I guess. Well, no. Because there's no higher body to appoint a governor anymore. So there has to be some other means of appointing a governor, since the original monarchy is super dead. I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused. I don't even know. I've made a lot of bad decisions in my time. Oh, and thank you for the follow, Michael Freeman. Maybe the previous governor assigns a new one. That's the title they use now. Probably. So it could be hereditary, or it could just be, I've chosen this dude. He will be the governor now. You cannot argue with me on this front. That probably would have happened initially, at the very least, just because of the historical shenanigans. I guess that makes sense. But I don't think... I mean, I guess if it's a system of literally just picking a dude, you could end up with a state of personal union. I think there have been times in history where that's almost happened. Where, like, for, like, they'll be like, we're gonna start a monarchy. Let's pick a dude to serve as our first king. Let's pick this dude, who happens to also be, like, the heir to France, or something. And then, in theory, that could have spawned a personal union, but usually either it doesn't end up going ahead, or the French prince in question will just say, I am no longer the heir to France. And they won't do it. But, like, in theory, they could have done it. But if it's literally just picking them, you kind of... They would kind of already be the governor, and they could always just change their mind to avoid a union. I'm not totally clear what I was thinking. I think I was thinking hereditary. But that they're called governors because of, like, nonsense. And if it's hereditary, then yeah, sure, personal union all the way, but, like, I doubt it. Because you can't really personal union something that is not a hereditary monarchy. It doesn't really work like that. And you may go, but the Holy Roman Empire, and I'll go, no. That was a hereditary monarchy, except for the one time. Or the 2 times. The first section, and the one dude. Everything else hereditary. I guess just not that. And then I think I'd have to just edit the article to change... to edit this section to not be that. Because otherwise the statue comes to be a thing too late. Really. Because the statue is like 200 years old. Or, well, no, 200 years old, actually pretty close, isn't it? 280? Like 150? Ain't bad. It's an old statue. Oh, yeah. That's how most of Europe unified, is just people getting married and then people died. And it's like, well, shit, I'm heir to both countries now. Or it's a situation where, like, you just overthrow your spouse and you become king. Or queen. Or king. It happens. Because there'll be those times where, like, the woman is the heir to the throne, and then all of the court will go, no. And they'll get her to marry a dude, and he'll become king instead. And then he forms a union. I'm pretty sure that's how Poland-Lithuania happened. If memory serves. Well, no, that is kind of how Poland-Lithuania happened. Because she was queen, and then she married the dude. And then he became king when she died. Because why not? Because they didn't have any kids. Well, they did have kids, and the kid didn't last. I don't remember. I don't think she had kids. I don't know that much about Poland. But I know that Jadwiga exists. It happens a lot, basically. A lot of weird shit. And I mean, there's a trio of countries in the south of Thrasin that through a very a successive chain all came under the same king within like the space of 60 years. Like they all just did that. There is a chart. I did a chart to figure out how it happened. I'll grab it. I'll show the chart. I've shown the chart before, but I'm gonna show the chart. Where is it? Which one is this? Where is it? Is it not in here? No, there it is. They're all color-coded, sillily. Beep. There's a chart. Where it's like, there's this country, and so through the course of this marriage here, these two countries become united under this guy, I believe. Yeah, under that guy. The math is hard because it's in negative numbers. And then, through the course of this marriage here, which is represented a bit weirdly because I forgot that it happened. Through this marriage here, they then unite again under this guy's daughter. And so she ends up running 3 countries. And just like, what are you doing? How'd this happen? Actually, hold on. No, yeah. These Cheladom and Semborgen under Kulvisko, and then those two and Erstraworth under Gian, and they just all become the same group. You're just like, what are you doing? What is happening? Oh yeah, I have Crusader Kings too, because I mean it's free. I really should try it again, because when I first tried it, I had no idea what I was doing. I think if I sat down and watched a strategy guide of like someone telling me how to play vanilla CK2, I would maybe get it and maybe understand, and then I can go hog wild on that shit. Because the tutorial did not help. That's because I'm not smart. I don't know why this guy's highlighted. I think it's because of the collision. And then they do a split. My favorite part of this is that they almost join again, which was hilarious. I put that in for fun. I did this for me. I love doing this. I love doing this kind of bullshit. Where because of a whole line dying out here, they almost joined again under, I think, this chick. And then she went, no, we're not doing that. And she went that way, and then her brother became king of the other one. Is great. I love it. So, personal unions have happened, but that doesn't work for the Zunatuth and Kari because they're not hereditary monarchies. So that doesn't make sense. So I think they just were very close friends. The story got very few updates. Quite possibly. And also because I'm not smart. I think, like, I don't remember what it was that was confusing me. I think it was something to do with, there was a point where I couldn't get the ships to go properly. I was hemorrhaging money because taxes. And then I got confused, restarted, tried it again, kind of got it, and then, you know, didn't get far after that. But I think someone suggested that you should just start a game and just go for it. Which is a fairly smart idea, so I'll probably do that at some point. I mean, I have plenty of time, so it can always happen. I can always find the time to play a video game at this point. Yeah, exactly. Ireland. Do it in Ireland and you don't get attacked for like 200 years. You can just figure out your own bullshit. Either that or England, you know? It's one of the two. Just go on the islands. You'll figure it out. Notifications. Stop it. Oh, there we go. So maybe I'll do that. That might be a tomorrow thing. Not on the game stream, just in general. Because I can think of nothing worse than streaming attempting to figure out CK2 on stream. That sounds like a genuine nightmare. Okay, so we're gonna edit this. We're gonna edit the challenge article to not say union, because that makes no sense. So that's gonna actually bring my word count down. I love it. I've got like an extra 5,000 words left over, just in general. Because what? I have 2,000 words now, and that's with BB code. I've still got like 600 words of actual words I could put in here, but I don't have anything to write. I was not begin until this delay. I'm gonna put this delay until. Let's pick a date. Let's pick a date. Let's pick a date. I need the converter page. Thank you. Where are the dice? There are the dice. CK3 Ireland, and you still haven't succeeded in taking all of Britannia. What year is it now? What year is it now in game? It has been a long, hard-fought victory over cruel Britannia. Ah, jeez. Famine is only like 40 years long, actually. Wow. Then disturbance is only like 30. So I reckon early disturbance, basically. That is the number 6. 6 disturbance. There you go. That's a date. That's a date that works, I think. Anything happened in 6 disturbance? A lot happened in early a lot is going on. It is an era of disturbance. You can call it that. That is definitely what is happening. Considering that it starts with, you know, a king going, I don't want to be king anymore. Screw you. No more kings. I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense. Raiders! Ah! Stay true. Welcome, Raiders from Siobhan the Rider. How is your stream? And thank you for the follow, Dappy Cappy. Yay! Hey, Casalia. Hey, Siobhan. Hey, Dazzlecat. Hope you've all had lovely days so far. Oh my god, so many emotes. Ah, that's awesome. Oh, that is so cool. 6 dist. So many people. Oh god, where was I? Until 6 disturbance. Not to make it fine. No, not 6 era. 6 disturb. Disturb. Not too bad, just distracted from my edits. Yeah, that happens. But at least you got some of the edits done. And that is the good stuff. Some is better than none. I promise you this. This reminds me. Not the edits, just the fact that people are here. I'm allowed to do once. Sneaky self-promotion. Just as you all are allowed to have like 1 redemption per stream of an article showcase, I too am allowed 1 per stream of just self-promotion of my own hero article, which now has a funky cover that I drew, and which looks very red on my other monitor, but that's reasonable. And you now have 2 more stubs. Oh god, the stubs, they grow. They accumulate over time. I'm technically working on a stub just because the plan was I would keep working on the article, but I kind of finished it already, like 4 days ago. So instead I'm working on a like supplementary article to this one, which is about the church that they burnt down. I figured that would be a decent article to write. Not that I have a lot to say about the church, but I figured I could. I could go into more detail about the blood cult on the church article, because it's the only time it matters. So, hey, churches. Oh, thank you, Chris! The stubs, they accumulate, and the churches, they burn. These are the things that happen. Not that I've done a lot this stream, because I had a showcase earlier, and then I spent... I've mostly been talking about Avatar, to be honest. It has been another one of those not productive streams, which is fair. So that's the timeline of the church. This is the church's lifespan. It does not live for very long, yet shamelessly showcases the article. This is what we must do. We have to develop a lack of shame, at least a little bit. And that is showcase number 2. We've done it. We've got it. Bob got in first. Okay. Let us look at RPG Dinosaur Bob's article, which is, hold on a minute, Anaraka, Tamer of the Sea of Storms. Is it Anaraka or is it Anaraka? I'm assuming it's just a long A. You create a new species stub and ethnicity stubs. Oops, it was 3. The third is a profession. They're accumulating as we speak. My god. Oh god, they continue to grow. You still have artwork and organizing to do, but the words are done. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, that's why I didn't push the notification to my followers until I had the art, the cover done. And then I was like, okay, now I'm good. The second? Oh, so it's Anaraka? Like 2 A's? Anaraka? Okay, I can do that. I can totally do that. Who is that, grandsire? That child is Anaraka. Anaraka. The Tamer of the Sea of Storms. She is one of the Orquana's most important wave rider heroes. In fact, there wouldn't be wave riders if it were not for her and her mentor, Kakara. Yes. That's him gifting her... Hold on a minute. That's him gifting her with his Staff of Storms. Anaraka was the first one to sail through the Strait of Storms and return safely. Until that voyage, the Wave Riders were nothing more than a village of fisherfolk. But thanks to her, the Wave Riders are now an important power on the seas all across Carterion. Okay, double A. That makes sense, because, like, birds. That makes sense. You refresh it to something from 21 to 35. Oh, God. It grows. An old Orquana and his granddaughter touring the Hall of Heroes. Ah, that's cool. That is very cool. And they're admiring it. Nice. Okay. It is imprinted into the Orquana that they should seek out the place in society where their talents and skills are most needed. This was particularly challenging for Anaraka, as she was gifted by the gods with a number of special talents. Other cultures would say she had more than her share, but the Orquana do not think this way. In fact, the abundance of gifts was a burden, for it made finding her place all the more challenging. Early life. Anaraka began life like many in the city of Ka'al Rook, high amid the peaks of the Farspine Range. Her name, loosely translated to reach the stars in the common speech of Carterion, a goal set by her parents with her naming, and a goal she had no idea how to fulfill. She learned what all young Orquana learned, and experimented with many skills and possible callings, but none seemed right. It was as she acted out her frustrations that her first special gift manifested. Escaping her frustrations one day, she ascended to the roof of one of Ka'al Rook's taller towers and sat, in a driving thunderstorm, to look out on the world beyond the city. Perhaps her future lay out there somewhere. When others found her, she was lying semi-conscious on the roof, the stones around her still smouldering. She had been struck by lightning, but, remarkably, she did not appear seriously damaged in any way. There are many among the Orquana, the affected, who have a penchant for being bad luck magnets, but who always seem to survive the ills that befall them. To all who knew her, Anaraka's lightning strike marked her as one of these. This changed everything for her. Her parents even wanted to change her name, as was custom with the affected, but she would have none of it. She was Anaraka, and she would remain so. She would reach the stars. Whatever that meant. Anaraka's first journeys. Considered to be one of the affected, Anaraka found her former friends were afraid to be around her. They did not wish to be too close when the next lightning bolt shot from the sky. She came to realize that wherever her destiny lay, it was not in Ka'al Rook. It was time to leave the city. there was only one other sizable settlement of birdfolk at the time, a settlement on the coast of the Sea of Storms called Gla'akraruk. Oh god, I cannot do R's somehow. Gla'akraruk. She sensed that her calling involved craftsmanship, but most artisans in Ka'alruk worked with metal and stone, and she knew these were not the materials for her. In Gla'akraruk, there were workers of wood. Perhaps that was where she would find her place. After apprenticing with a few artisans, it became clear that her talent was indeed in the shaping of wood, and in particular the making of boats the Okwana of this city relied upon to harvest fish from the sea. Though she did not realize it at the time, this was where her second gift manifested. She could shape wood with exquisite skill, because she had been given an innate ability to call upon the magic of Carterian to do so. Because it was natural for her, she did not even sense the magic she shaped, but her artisan master did. She could do things that no skilled craft person could. Oh damn. Soon, she was crafting vessels faster and better than those with years more experience, but she still felt she was not reaching her potential. Pieces of the puzzle were falling together, but there were some pieces missing, and her heart began to tell her that the missing pieces lay beyond the shores of Gla'akraruk. She began to craft a vessel unlike any the fisherfolk had seen. Larger and more stable in the water, she called upon her instincts, and some memories of tales she had heard of dwarves far away, to build a vessel that would take a small crew of Okwana beyond sight of the shore, into the deeper sea. She wished to discover what was out there. It took a year to build the craft, and another to convince 4 other fisherfolk to join her in an attempt to see what lay beyond the ocean that touched their shores. They set sail to the north and west, towards a place the dwarves called the Farsi, but it wasn't long before she and her crew learned why the dwarves called the stretch of water the Sea of Storms. Far from shore, gales often blew in these waters. Her crew believed that the storms were a bad luck of the unaffected, but they also believed she and they would survive. They pressed on until they reached the Evergale Straits that separated the Sea of Storms from the Farsi. But the storm that raged there, a storm that seemed to rage on without moving on or diminishing, would not let them pass. After weeks at sea, they returned to Gla'akraruk badly debatted, the crew convinced they were simply not meant to pass those straits. God damn. Okay, so Kakara, sure. Aanaraka would not accept defeat so easily, but she had doubts. Was her calling out there, or was she mistaken? She needed guidance, but there was nobody in Gla'akraruk who could help her, until an ancient woman, also of the affected, told her of a seer that lived in the mountains near Ka'alruk. Kakara was his name. He was a hermit rumored to have great powers of divination. Aanaraka decided to seek out this mystic. Returning first to Ka'alruk, she learned where she might find this Kakara, but it took a year of wandering in the mountains before she finally found his home. It sat atop one of the great peaks of the far spine, from which, if the weather was crystal clear, the spires of Ka'alruk were barely visible. Kakara sensed immediately there was something special about Aanaraka. He was not truly a seer, but he was touched with magical gifts. Other folk of Carterian would call him a druid. He was attuned to the natural world, able to speak with small animals and plants, and even the rocks around him. When Kakara heard Aanaraka speak of her woodcraft, he knew she shared his gifts. He took her as an apprentice and began to teach her all he could about the natural world around them, and how its energies could be bent to their will if they knew how and had the determination. It soon became apparent that Aanaraka was more gifted even than he was. The last things Kakara taught Aanaraka was rituals to command the weather. She had learned spells to bring up dust devils and gusts of wind, and even to call down lightning from a clear sky, but this magic was far more powerful. As Aanaraka learned, she knew these rituals would defeat the storms in the Evergale Straits, and allow her to sail to the Farsi. When she mastered these rituals, Kakara told her that he could teach her no more. It was time for her to depart. His parting gift was the staff he had fashioned for himself to focus his will and shape magic to his bidding. He explained that, like her, the staff itself had a greater calling, but it was in her hands, not his, that this calling would be realized. And that's Aanaraka receiving the staff. That is cool. God damn. Alright. Anaraka's second journey. It was a full 4 years after leaving Gla'akra that Anaraka returned there. It took another year to restore the vessel she had built to seaworthiness once more, even with her new powers to shape wood with her magic as well as her hands. Remarkably, her original crew all agreed to try once more, and so they set out. But this time, when the storms blew up, Anaraka, holding her staff high above her head, commanded the storms to not impede their way. She reshaped them, in fact, putting the wind behind their sails to speed their journey. When they reached the Evergale Straits and the great storm there, she called upon all she knew and all she was. She commanded nature itself to yield to her. It did not do so easily. The winds howled and whipped about, but she calmed them. The storm hurled lightning at her, but the strikes were deflected away from her and the ship, spending their energies in the waves. Finally, the storm yielded. The skies in the straits parted to reveal the sun as the small ship sailed into the vast waters of the far sea. They sailed for another few weeks until they sighted a great city on the shore to their south. This was Cliffport, the home of the seafarer dwarves. The dwarves she had thought were only fantasies talked about by merchants. The seafarers were amazed when her crew told them of the passage through the straits, as no dwarven ship had ever successfully made the passage before either. When it was time to depart, Anaraka and her crew carried with them gifts bestowed by the elders of Cliffport, as well as an elder dwarven cleric who wished to see her magic for himself. The return journey was somewhat easier. The storm was raging once more, but it was as if it remembered and respected Anaraka. It yielded much more quickly this time, allowing her vessel swift and sure passage. It seemed to the crew that even the typical gales of the Sea of Storms granted them easier passage. Their voyage back to Gla'akra was swift and uneventful. At first, though she was greatly respected for her achievement, the Okwana did not recognize its import. Anaraka made the voyage several more times, carrying trade goods on subsequent voyages, but it was the passengers she carried back to Gla'akra on her third voyage that allowed her to finally realize her place in Okwana society. These passengers were 4 dwarves, selected by the elder cleric that had travelled with her on her first return trip, selected for their apparent innate tendencies to interact with nature as Anaraka could. She was to be their teacher, as Kakara had been hers. She would teach these seafarer dwarves, as well as 4 Okwana she had selected herself, the rituals that granted passage through the Evergale Straits. Goddamn. Legacy. The school Anaraka founded with those first 8 students exists to this day. Those who show the proper innate tendencies are trained first to sense, then to weave the magical fabrics of Carterian itself. The most skilled learned the most powerful rituals. Rituals? Rituals. And to this day, every ship that sails through the straits carries one of Anaraka's storm tamers. In time, even the humans, the Chitika, and the Amaroon sent students to learn the druidic secrets they had as they established themselves upon the seas of Carterian. Today, all who sail the seas, whether Okwana or other folk, know Anaraka's name and are grateful for the persistence she showed in finding her place in the world. God damn. Anaraka taught those first students, and many more before she travelled to the afterlife. And when it was time for that last voyage, it is said that our goddess, patroness of, and believed to be the deity responsible for Anaraka's many talents, bestowed her last gift. The very stars in the sky were reordered, and a new constellation appeared in the sky. Ooh, Anaraka's staff? You showed me that one the other night. Yes, granddaughter. With her last breath, Anaraka witnessed her arm and her staff, set into the night sky for all time to come. She heard the voice of the goddess in her head, telling her that she had, as her name had challenged her to do all her life, finally reached the stars. Wow. Damn. That rules. That's a cool article. That is awesome. Oh, I gotta find decent pics. Ugh. Yeah, good luck for that. Gender switch? Hold on, let me reread. No? I don't think anything changed. I don't think so. I have no idea, to be honest. I got a lot into that. But I didn't pay as much attention to the chat, sorry. Or even what I was saying, I was just kind of like, read. It's read time. Which is a sign of a good article, I think. I do like all the pictures and how they are diegetic. In the sense of they are actual pictures within the world, because you've got the frames. That's cool. That said, I'm looking at this one going, there's a lot of K's and A's, which is good though. Those are a good combination. Oh, and there's even the one in there. Ah, because that's this one. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that combo. That's awesome. Damn. That's a good article. It's good. I'm realizing I didn't credit the background that I used for the thing. Damn it! Damn it. Oh well. Woo! An article people should read. And it is linked further above. It should still be accessible in chat, I think. I hope. Ah, yeah. That is one thing, is that because there's clearly a somewhat limited set of sounds available to the Orquana, visually it can get a bit easy to kind of phase out which one we're talking about, you know, like I think I kept them together decently well, but you know, it happens just because it's like, because Akka is in both as well. But yeah, aside from that, that's fine. That can be managed because at least they start with different letters, so that helps. You've done basically within the letter set you have. Oh, and I can't pronounce clearly for shit. That doesn't help. That I am not particularly clear in my enunciation, so that can get confusing as well. But I think it works. I think it's fairly clear, especially like in reading, even though they do kind of get a bit. You know, he's still hell yeah. And I'm assuming this is one of the things that you're working on as like the things to finish up. Just because it's just the goddess, patroness of, Who knows? Who knows? I don't. No idea. So that'll get filled in. At least like that's not a seriously important element that completely derails the article. It's like, oh yeah, okay. Doing the full conlang for Orquana will be fun. Oh, I can imagine. Oh god. Have fun with that. I still need to do one more conlang. And I don't want to. I'm way too lazy. I don't want to have to do it. Because I'm gonna force myself to work with tonal, like, tones. Like what Mandarin does, and I'm going to hate every second of it. Because that's even worse. I can't pronounce most of my names already. I don't need tones. But I'm like, no. Mermaids should use tones, and I'm like, oh fuck, alright. Sure. Fine. We'll do that. That's why the mermaids don't do anything in Tiwamara, because I don't want to deal with them. Even though they definitely exist and do stuff, I'm just like, no. Ah, yeah, goddess name. And something for her to be a patroness of. Which is always fun. Gods are fun. I still need to write about my gods in more detail. Because the god article is really old, actually. It's one of those things that I should go back and fix. And I might do that over the course of the next month, is do a bunch of edits on old articles. Because, like, so I mentioned, like, here, I mentioned who her pact partner is, their pact partner is, god damn it. Who the pact partner of my hero was, but it just links to the main article, and I'm pretty sure this hasn't been edited in at least a year. Last update, 14th of June 2019. Yeah, it's at least a year. So, this definitely needs to be fixed a little bit, because it looks ugly as sin, and it just needs to be edited. This also needs to be removed somehow, because that's not how that works. I don't like how that looks. So, this is one of those things that I need to put on the list of, like, articles that need to be updated super badly, like, now. And who knows? I'm actually gonna pull up the notepad, blind myself a little bit, and go, ow! And then... which page is it? This one. That's the Tiefling Warlock. No, it's not really removing the sidebar. It's removing the specific section of it. Because I don't... one of the unfortunate things about using the links is that sometimes they show up in the other article, and I don't really want them to. So maybe I'll leave that. Maybe I'll just leave those. That's fine. I can always, like, if I need to, I think I have a way of clearing it up a little bit, but we'll see what happens. I need to, in the notepad, before I blind myself with my notepad, is so, articles to edit. Oh, this is a CSS set file, isn't it? Fancy. Yeah, let's make that green. Okay, so the divinities, elves, those are the two that go on the list first, is those articles super need to be fixed. This one's kind of okay. Mountain, no, it needs a lot of edits. The elf article is super busted, though. That one needs big edits. A lot of them. An immense amount of edits for that one. I finished the edits on Ankyun, right? I probably should have checked that. Before I close the edit tab. Oh my god. It went through properly, right? Yes. We're good. We got it. Gonna minimize that so I don't blind myself. Ow. my eyeballs. I spent like 2 hours the day out in the living room getting blinded by the lighting fixture. I don't need that again. I'm good. I don't need to do that on the notepad. Can I do Notepad++ in dark mode? Does it have a dark mode? I'm assuming it doesn't. That is something I'm going to have to look up. I will investigate the viability of that, because that would be really good, actually. Ooh, okay. So that's the article. That's Ankyun. And then there's the church, which I haven't done basically anything on yet, which is a bit awkward. I'm trying. I promise. I promise. I'm trying to do the writing, but I am very, very lazy. I am not a very productive person without an external motivator of anything. The stream's meant to be an external motivator, but it isn't always. Oh yeah, I love dark modes. Dark modes are way better, especially because I'm in a room where the lighting isn't great. So it's not actually very bright in here. So, you know, having dimmer screen is better, because otherwise it stands out too much. Oh my god, it's a sprint redeem. Okay, 1 second. One moment. Let's open this app that I haven't had open in a while. Why does it look like... why is it in that position? Oh, that makes sense. Okay. I forgot that I had this app for a bit. Okay, so we'll run a 10-minute sprint, and that'll force me to get stuff done. This is the smart plan. Thank you, Siobhan. Okay, let's drink first. I asked and I shall receive. It's completely correct, so I'll do it. This is what we'll do, everybody. For the next 10 minutes, we will work on whatever we need to work on right now. So I'll work on this church article. Nappy Cappy can work on their hero article. We will get things productive done. Maybe. If you don't, I'm not gonna like hurt you or anything. I'm just saying that's the idea. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Focus. You can sprint to bed. Thank you for coming, Siobhan. The Grand Church in Curry. It's just curry, but let's fix at some point. This table sucks. Okay, curry is. Oh, coffee. That's also a good sprint to do. Sprint to that coffee. Consume. What's the largest such structure on the island? And indeed, in northern Brasin, as a whole, I believe. Sure. It was burnt down during which was riot into famine. It has never been built. It remains a mess of debris which provokes little respect from locals. And it's in the town of Ankiru, actually, but I'm not gonna write up Ankiru. Ankiru? Sure. The town's name is bad, but that's something that no one but me would know, which is great. H1, history. History. The island of Kari was conquered by the flick of a vehicle dust. Captain Gazu, ordered that a great church be built in the island in honor of his victory and of the gods who had allowed him to succeed in his goals. And he is later in stop saying when we disco. I hope we should actually put the date in the thing instead of having it outside of the link. It looks worse. I think something like that. That's better. Okay, I think. Yeah, that's better. No, that don't work at all. Okay, use it in. Declared that the building is now operational and invited many foreign dignitaries to attend its opening. Far from just a place for locals to worship the gods, the Grand Church was used for a purpose heretofore unknown on the island. Is ritual sacrifice. God, so many things happen. Oop, yeah, 30 years, wow. Oh man. Is the largest church on the island. It saw a lot of activity, especially from the occupying Kodami tables and families. Fucking piss and beans. Don't. God damn it. And there we go. Streamlabs. You're working. There's one, buddy. There we go. Blocks are disgusting. Okay. So is piss and beans, apparently. Okay. So from activity, especially from soldiers and their families. We would gather across the burgeoning, the conquering public to witness, to participate in festivals and events. The most popular being the public executions and ritual sacrifices, which would occur in the churches. Stairs. I'll conclude that in a later section. What the plague? The plague. Aim to Kari. The church briefly housed many of the sick from the city in. That's Ankiri. It was soon bar its doors in an effort to prevent the disease infecting the priests. It's rarely worked, but in short, this only partially worked. Ritual sacrifice. Oh. And that is the end of that 10-minute sprint. I got an amount of words done. Couldn't tell you how many. Well, actually, I probably could, if I did this. 300 words, apparently. Sure. Sure. That... Yeah, sure, buddy. But that's words. That's words. Which is good. Hopefully, for anyone who was sprinting along, you were able to get something done. Some progress made towards whatever goal you were working on. Happy to run more sprints, or at least like one more sprint. In like, I don't know, 5 minutes or something, if anyone wants one. But, you know, as I'm not exactly the sprint runner, usually. Mostly because my time slot overlaps with someone who already runs sprints. So, I mean, not to stop people from watching my own stream, but Ryder Greg is streaming sprints. That sprint is for me. Mostly, but a little bit. Ah, jeez. Ritual sacrifice, baby. The blood cult. You love to see it. You don't love to see it. You do not love to see it. It is the oh no. Uh-oh. Same, couple hundred, I think. Hell yeah! That's a couple hundred you didn't have. That's the good stuff. I may have gotten less than done than I thought, because I think I'd written some of this before. I got like 200 done at least. That's progress. Yeah. Because this isn't going to be a long article, because there's not really that much to say about the church. It's just kind of, it kind of is what it is, you know? It be what it do. A church that did executions. That's normal. That's just Catholicism. That's a bad joke, sorry. That was not a good joke. Oops. It's not even a correct joke. Listen, I don't know anything about religion. That's why this is a cult. And that's why this is fantasy bullshit. I don't have to know anything about religion. Treatment of the people of the island. We're gonna link Ankyun again, just because it's been a while. It's been a hot minute. Church in Famine. Inside. Slain. Or later arrested if they happen to flee. Luckily, no ill inside. Though if there had been, it is entirely likely they would have perished in the ensuing blaze. Then what? Then what happened? What happened after it got burnt? Years later, in disturbance. Oof. In 6th disturbance, the governorate of Korea erected a statue of Ankyun Villageois at the bottom of the church's steps, built at such a height that they towered over its ruins. No effort, well, been made to clean up the debris, with locals deciding that leaving it a mess perfectly represented their disgust for the regime which had built it in the first place. That's a section done. Purpose, I guess. Do I need a purpose section? I don't know. I'm trying to think of what's the other. I've written about 3 churches. Jesus. I've written about 4 churches. Oh my god. Religion, yeah? It's wild. Because that's a fortress. That's a church. That's a, like, obelisk. That's a church. That's a church turned into a high court. That's nothing. That's a mage's tower. I haven't actually written this article. And that's a temple, which is basically a church. Same thing. Why are there so many churches? Forgot about all the churches is so constant the blaspheming. I mean, they're not Catholic or Protestant. Listen, there's no blasphemy. There is none. No blaspheming occurs here against real or fictional religion. Maybe. Possibly. I do not know. Listen, alright? I have no responsibility for this. I do not take responsibility for my actions. What prompt was this? I do not remember the prompt that... I think it was repurposed building, right? For Meisma? Yes. 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 Because it became a court. Oh, it needs to be edited. Oh, no. I have to fix it. I have to fix it while I'm here. I shall do the court, do the church and the court what it deserves, and I'm going to fix an editing issue. I forgot that I was doing that, and it was bad. Why is there a comma there? What are you doing? I like commas too much. Is using commas too much a blasphemy? Am I blaspheming through the use of commas? Investing moves for... I'm gonna say ponder their choices. I'm just gonna quickly edit that so that it doesn't do the thing. I feel that. Put the laws no in vain. Jesus Christ. That's an accent that came out on that phrase. Wow. Has there ever been a civilization without some form of religion? I want to say no, but I cannot claim to be a sociologist, so I wouldn't know. But I feel fairly confident in saying no. I think most civilizations have, at least initially, had religion. And I guess it depends on your definition of religion. To an extent. I'm gonna close the train pan out of the way. Close that. I think most would. I guess it depends on civilization as well, but I think most would. There are obviously some countries and groups who are not religious per se, But even then, it's usually like religion is still involved either through the fact that you're defining your irreligiousness in direct opposition to it, or you're doing a bunch of weird shit. It's kind of complicated. Because I can't think of any, like, secular state that's actually secular. Because it's kind of difficult to do. Just because, oh boy, shit's hard to do. It's hard to be completely secular, whatever that means. Because we live in a society. And, can't really avoid it. Like, I'm not religious, but, you know, I went to a primary school where they taught Christian religious education. They taught us, you know, they taught us the good book. They taught us about Jesus. The secular government school, doesn't matter, taught us about Jesus. And, like, we still celebrate Christmas. We do Easter. We're not Christian. Or at least I'm not. But, hey, chocolate. So, you know, it kind of... There's usually, like, superstitious practices and religious beliefs and such that sort of just happen in most places. Traditions become codified and you have an excuse, or not an excuse, but like a reason to justify why you do them. The divines told you to do it. I don't know. It's kind of complicated. But I think most stuff ends up involving religion in some capacity. Whether that's a good or bad thing, who knows? It's just kind of how... It's a neutral thing. It's just kind of how stuff be. It depends what way it influences whether it becomes good or bad. Because sometimes it's absolute nonsense. Sometimes religion does really weird things that are very, very silly. Like the story that I've had... The news story about the divorce thing I've had to hear like 4 times today. And I'm like, oh my god. Nonsense. No. Organized religion and decentralized authorities are not universal. Absolutely not. But religious practices, at least in certain eras, probably are. In some capacity. But that's mostly just like superstition and, you know, traditions that you uphold. Exactly, like I'm just talking out of my ass here. I don't know anything. I'm a visual arts major, not like a historian. I sit here and stream video games some days. I don't know anything. I've got nothing. But it kind of makes sense to me that at least, like, early. Because what? When did atheism start being a thing? I don't remember. Like, obviously, some degree of not believing in a specific god has been a thing for ages, but, like, specific, like, atheism and agnosticism, it's like a Enlightenment thing, right? It's not that old. So most of the bases of the civilizations that we live in, their foundation includes religion and mythological practices and such like that, but in recent times, there's, like, you know, the introduction and growth of irreligiousness in whatever form that takes. But, you know, that's not really civilization building per se. Not yet. The only way to do that is to build an island and put all the atheists on it, and then we'll build a culture. This is the solution. That way, we shall have a civilization without religion. Except unless I start celebrating Christmas, in which case they have failed. They cannot do holidays. No new holidays. And then over time, we'll come back in 100 years and they'll have created a religion. And we'll be like, God damn it. We told you not to do that. You explicitly said not to create a religion. You've done it. You did it anyway. How could you do this? And even the gay vibes. And that is my religion. My religion, gay. That's it. Church of Queerness. As it goes. Typically, initially, the church designed solely to be a place to worship the god To serve as a monument to the captain, God's piety. Piety. How do I spell piety? Is it literally spelled piety? Help. My god, it is. God damn it. Piety. And piety. And his victory. The island. The rabbit hole, the folklore of LGBT culture is fascinating. I would need some examples of that. Religion was education before education was education. Exactly! Most people in, like, the Middle Ages, medieval times, they were educated in churches, in abbeys, and all that such. Like, priests taught them, monks taught them. You learned to write because you were writing religious texts. Not just because you wanted to write. You know, like, especially early on, those were the centers where they knew how to do stuff. And so you went to the church to learn how to do things. And it's like a lot of advancements were, well, not a lot of advances, but a great deal of advancements in, like, history were spurred by religious reasons. Kinda. True, yeah, I guess that is true. I'm thinking purely of the writing standpoint, but yeah, blacksmiths did not go to church to learn to blacksmith, so that is fair. As opposed, yeah, I'm thinking book learning, which of course blacksmiths weren't really doing book learning, which I guess is part of like what the definition of education and learning is. That we just went immediately for academia, and academia was definitely a religious thing, but trades not so much. Though even then, a lot of the trades did have, well, like, not a lot of the trades, but, well, no, yeah, quite a few of the trades had a lot to do with religion. You know, like, their talents were often used for religious purposes. You know, making all the gold statues and glass windows takes somebody who knows how to do the thing, and who is also either religious themselves or willing to be paid to pretend to be. You know, go Catholic for cash. Pay me and I'll pretend to be Catholic. And I'll make you a cool statue. Yeah, and life lessons too. And education was just survival. Yeah, just trial and error and just you live in life and you learn something. But academia was definitely a religious thing. But everything else, that's just how life is. But, like, since, like, the upper classes, such they are, were usually educated in the book learning ways, that tends to trickle down. It is in one situation where trickle down economics actually happens. It's just religion. Yeah, don't eat this, run from that, don't step there. Exactly. Tricky thing in history. Yeah, true. Read a really interesting thread about talking about you can't say what race ancient Egyptians were, for example, even though we can take pretty good stabs at what they looked like, because the concept of race only came about in around 16th century. Yeah, that's completely true too. Like, this is mostly just a, you know, run your mouth exercise at the moment. We're definitely not trying to define stuff. It's really difficult to define anything old by modern concepts. Which I think, like, comes up a lot in, like, LGBT stuff, because it's like, was this person in history a lesbian? Who knows? They never used the term. And that's a thing that can be used to minimize, you know, the existence of LGBT people in society, in history, because they didn't use the terms. Because the terms didn't exist until the 1900s. Well, not all of them, but you know what I mean. So it can be difficult to say with any certainty about lots of stuff. Well, I mean, yeah, Greece top and bottom, I know. We also have pederasty. So, you know, the hill swings and roundabouts. You know, you get the good and the bad. Exclusively for the men. What about the women? Where are the lesbians? The rule on Lesbos, I know. Which I'm sure all the people who live on Lesbos are thrilled to find out that the demonym is a term for gay women. I'm sure they love that. Oh, yeah. Like, terms change over time as well. Yeah. Most young people do not use the word transsexual. Nope. That's because that word was pathologized. It was used in a medical context. So it's just like, no. It has connotations that we were just like, no, we don't want to use those. And so we use different words, which is fun. Yeah, the king's room. Yeah. There's 40, yeah. It changes quick. Culture changes quite quickly, so it can be difficult to say with certainty, like, you know, whether it's how things worked in history, especially because we can't experience it and we often don't have resources for it. Because, you know, one of the reasons that we probably think of history as being so much more religious than maybe it was is because the people who could write were the people doing religion. You know? So, like, it was the monks who were writing down history and all the shit. Not always. Not always. But a lot of the time, a lot of the writing that was preserved and, like, immortalized and, like, stone and shit was religious in nature because the people who were in, you know, the organized religions were the people who knew how to write. Your average Joe Blow didn't necessarily know how to write, especially in, like, England, where peasants didn't know how to write. Probably couldn't read either. Most of them couldn't read. Or they couldn't read the language used for history, you know, because a lot of it was Latin. So we think of history as being very religious because most of what survived is religious text. And so you lose out in a lot of the, like, primary sources of regular people in those times, in those eras, who didn't interact with religion all that often. If that makes sense. Am I wrong? I don't know. You lose a lot of sources when not everyone can write. When people are empowered to write down their history and it is preserved, you'll learn more about shit. That's how it works. I don't think religion's been stagnant, it's just been a whole mess. But I'm not religious, so it's kind of hard to know. Like, from an outsider perspective, maybe it seems the same, but I don't know. Things do change. And there aren't that many sects in Christianity for nothing. They exist for a reason. Shit changes. That's why we have all the Protestants. Oh god, there's so many Protestants. There are so many Protestants. I don't even know which Protestant I am. I'm not a Protestant, but, like, my family are ostensibly Protestants, and I'm like, which Protestants even are we, dude? God. Does religion advance a culture, or is it art? I don't know. I mean, pretty much any culture thing can advance a culture if it is adopted, you know? Yeah, a lot of churches are innovating in certain ways to, you know, adapt to the modern climate, like doing the infrastructure and, like, you know, streaming services and finding ways to communicate with their congregation when they're not allowed to be in person. And there's a lot of stuff. And I mean, hey, take it in the meme direction. The fact that there's that picture going around of that priest with a water gun of holy water baptizing a child from a socially distanced distance. That's innovation. And it's amazing. I love that picture so much, yo. That's from, like, March. God, it's like we're gonna get to the year anniversary of the goddamn socially distanced baptism. My god. What a year we've been through. My only interaction with religion is through memes. You know, shit's wild, you know? Things happen. Oh god, it's 1 o'clock. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It is my hour. My 2 hours is done. And I wrote about 400 words, apparently. Wow. That's actually more than I thought I would write. Let's open here. Can you spell the word Twitch, please? I'll actually go put it here. No. Nope, that. I have one. Universalist churches. Could argue that atheistic humanist churches are religion as they are holding mass or some of things. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, Wasn't there like a whole thing on that like depending like in the legal definition of like a church is a place that holds like a thing. They do like a like oh, okay, if we gather in this studio every Saturday to watch this guy film film an episode, then guess what? This is a religious practice, you know? And obviously that was a joke, but the broad concept applies that if you're doing something with a group in a way that is like fulfilling, you know, like in certain capacities, and that's kind of religion, you know? So I'm not religious, I'm confused. Oh, nothing about nothing. Who should we fear more? Aliens or AI? Ourselves. We should fear humanity. But yes, AI. I'm more inclined to fear the computers than I am to fear the unknown out in space, assuming that it is there. So I fear humanity. I fear what we know exists and which is already doing things. The wild card answer is humanity. The answer is AI, if we must pick. Those are the two answers. But I think humanity is the scary thing. You know, just to do that. Oh, God. Damn it. Greg decided to sprint. Devastating. Popular answer, but a strange answer. I mean, I'm scared of people. That's why I don't leave the house. You know? Like, I'm kind of joking, but I'm also not joking. Yeah, but I mean, plague and anxiety, when you combine the two, people are terrifying. Like, no. No. It's the murder deodorant, exactly. Humans have killed more humans than anything else. I think. That's a stat. Blame humans. Humanity is terrifying. Ah, jeez. Ah, jeez. Why is that the tab that remained up? I shouldn't have done that. Let's move to a tab that's actually good to look at. Like this. This is a tab. Incredible. Sure. Ah, well. Ah, jeez. So, since it is now 1:08, well past my time that I need to do that, some people might even eat us. A normal fear. Oh, yeah. Normal fear. Since it is now 1:08 and I finish at 1, I've actually gone over time. We will be raiding, so reminder that our raid call is get bready, and we have the raid emote of toast, which you can use toast slices to claim on Twitch, so that you too can toast and go. Yeah, my last words will be oh jeez, oh jeez, jeez. So we will be when we enter Ryder Greg's stream, they are currently running a sprint, so Greg will not be chatting, but the chat will be active, probably. And you'll be able to continue being productive while I go get a midnight snack and then do nothing for the rest of the night. So anyway, thank you all for coming. I hope you all had a lovely time, whatever it is that you were doing while I was faffing around and not being productive. I'll be back tomorrow to play Minecraft at this time, but that's just normal. So, you know, it'd be like that. And I will see many of you around in the future. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye.